Hi, I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Janis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Toretko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Welcome back, tennis fans. Here we are. We're back on day 2 now, I believe. Or is it day 3? We're going to be reviewing day 2, but we're on day 3 of the French Open. So it's been pretty exciting stuff yesterday. Where do you want to get started?
Well, let's start with some of the big exits. Like, there's a few shocks in there. I know you're trying to say you expected a few happening. You were telling me earlier you thought certain people would be going out, but I was a bit shocked, not going to lie. And I probably want to start this video, actually. The best way to start is just to say congratulations, really, to most of our comment section. Because they was calling us stupid on the Troy one, saying how Medvedev is going to be there all the way to the end. And, yeah, you was right. So fair play to all you guys saying Medvedev's not really much of a threat on Roland Garros.
Never won at Roland Garros.
Yeah, never won.
Still.
So, yeah, we hold our hands up there. We were wrong, and you were right on that one. So well done for that. And it's brilliant, really, for, well, not for Medvedev, but for his opponent. I don't know if you want to get into that now.
Yeah, we can do. Let's just have a little look down. Well, we can go all the way to the... Oh, bear with me. Where has he gone? It might have been the... I've got to go down a bit further. Apologies. There we go. All the way to the bottom. And it was one of our favourites that took him out. And it wasn't... Well, I don't think that Martin's a bad player. So
no, I'm going to make a big statement now, yeah? I think Martin, at times, when he's up for it and he's playing good, he's a top 10 player. He can play like a top 10 player when he's in form. And for me, out of anyone you don't want to be playing in the first round of a slam, it's Martin Fucsovics. We see what he did to Shapovalov earlier in the year in the Australian Open. Dimitrov as well. He's someone you just do not want to be playing like in a slam, full stop. Federer, he caused a lot of problems for Federer as well in that Australian Open.
Took a set, didn't he?
He's just got like the athleticism of a player who's top 10, in my opinion. Like his fitness is incredible. You can't outlast him. He's got all the shots in the locker, really. And it's just a tricky opponent to be playing. It's surprising that he's not really higher in the rankings or really achieved more in his career.
Definitely. Well, yeah, you've seen it once again here, and it wasn't even really a contest by the looks of it. Martin Fucsovics pretty much dismantled Medvedev there. I mean, he had one slip up there in the third set, but yeah, very impressive. And
can you just zoom in slightly, Ben? Because my eyesight's just shocking.
Yeah, I can if you like.
That's better. It saves me squinting.
No worries. Yeah, I'll go in a little bit more there for you. There you go. So
yeah,
that's
perfect. Cheers.
Yeah, an amazing fourth set though. I think he just had enough and just thought, I'm done with this Medvedev character. I'm just going to wrap it up nice and quick. And yeah, fair play to Martin Fucsovics. I think he is the better clay court player, and it's clear there he is.
The craziest thing in that match for me, was the second set where Medvedev was facing set point and he just completely obliterated his racket and got a point penalty to lose the set. Yeah, like, come on, that is a bit ludicrous. In a slam, you don't give away points like that, especially a set point. And I thought it was really interesting because we saw Medvedev in Cincinnati. Was it Cincinnati? No, US Open against Rublev. And he was in a similar position there I think it was in a tiebreak as well, wasn't he? He was down 6-3.
Yeah.
And he managed to come back and win that tiebreak, and that sort of changed the match for him. So it just shows that if he held his core a bit, there's a good chance he could have maybe taken that set. He shouldn't have given up at 6-3. The set's not over. It's a tiebreak, and every point is so big in a tiebreak. It was just like crazy for him to just throw it away like that, I thought.
Do you think he's just not got the mental edge on this clay court, though? Do you think that?
I don't think it's mental with Medvedev. Like, we spoke about him. I think mentally he's quite a strong guy. I think it needs to be more about his technique, if anything, on a clay court. I think he's such a lanky figure, and the ball doesn't bounce very high. So it's for these big guys, we've seen it with Opelka as well yesterday. A big shock against, it was a shock for me. I know Sock was the favourite, but where's Jack Sock come from? He was about, I don't even want to guess his weight a few months ago, mate. But all of a sudden, he's just like a world beater. He's beating everyone. Jack Sock, he's back to his best. So, and I was expecting Opelka to have a more of a show in there, but yet again, he's like that lanky sort of frame. The ball's not bouncing very high, and I've noticed a lot actually. These players are struggling.
Yeah, they are indeed. I mean, you see the result there is straight sets against Riley Opelka, and Sock looks like, well, could this be getting back to some of his best form again? You've seen how well he'd been playing, well, before the break, and he's been making his way back up through the rankings again, and sort of been making his way in a few wild cards into a few tournaments and looking pretty good. But it's still, like you said, he's dropped. Maybe the weight's dropping off a bit week by week, and
he's still got that forehand, isn't he? He's always been known for that one of the most powerful forehands in tennis, and that's not going to just go away overnight, is it?
No, and he's got obviously great net play as well. So
yeah, of course,
great doubles player. Another big shock. Well, should we get onto the one there?
Well, we've got Chris in the chat. He wanted to talk about that. How you doing, Chris? He was saying the big upset really for him was Felix.
Yeah, and that's a little bit poor form from Felix, to be honest. And Nishioka, he's a good player, but he's a hard court player predominantly. And you shouldn't, if you're top 20, you can't be losing to Nishioka in the Grand Slam in the first round. I mean, you're not winning any fans with this type of and it's not even like I went out fighting type performance. It's a straight sets loss to Nishioka. And
I'll be honest, I'm not going to hold back on it. I think not to take a set off Nishioka and Roland Garros this year, for Felix, the form he's been in, the way he's playing, I think it's a bit of a disgrace, to be honest. He should be at least taking a set or making it competitive. I saw a statistic, I forget the amount of unforced errors it actually was, but it was just through the roof. Like, it wasn't that Nishioka was outplaying him, making loads of winners and just completely like playing him off the court. It just seemed like Felix couldn't find the court and was making unforced error after unforced error. And at such a big stage, it's poor. He is young, but there's only so many times you can use the young excuse.
Yeah, I mean, 58 unforced errors in that match from Felix, and 6 double faults again. So he's still got that. He keeps throwing in those double faults, and they're just not helping him out whatsoever. I mean, you've got to iron that out of your game. You're in Grand Slams at the moment. You can't be throwing double faults around. It's losing your matches, and it's quite clear. I'm not sure how he did on his. Well, yeah, you can see breakpoint conversion was pretty terrible as well. He had 2 out of 13 points he converted for breakpoints, and just not good enough on this level. And fair play, Nishioka. I watched a match that he played. I think it was last week. He played Koepfer. He had a very close match with Koepfer, and you can see he's improving on the clay courts. He's nowhere near like top level yet, but I thought Felix would have had that wrapped up, to be honest. I shouldn't be causing him that many problems. I mean,
I think John summed it up quite nicely, actually. It was his forehand predominantly. It's just, I don't know, he needs to work on it a lot because it's just prone to a lot of mistakes. And often what he tries to do is end the point so quickly because basically, I feel like how he plays is with his big serve, a lot of the time, he's not serving for very long. He'll serve. If it's not an ace, he'll finish it off in the next point. He's very much, he's not someone he's going to want to rally. He doesn't like a long rally. He's not going to like to slug it out. With these courts as well, probably doesn't suit him, these conditions at all. No. And Nishioka, someone who loves that. He's probably polar opposite to Felix.
Yeah, he loves running around the court, doesn't he? Whereas Felix likes that 1-2 punch. And on this type of court, you're not getting that. And the big servers struggling. If you're a big, if you can hit a lot of winners, fair enough, but he hit 30 winners but 58 unforced errors, and that negative average, I guess, or ratio is not good enough. And Nishioka, 23 winners, only 34 unforced errors, and that's probably the tail of the match, really. You got 28 more 24 more unforced errors, and that's enough to lose you any match.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to harp on about it, but he needs to buck his ideas up if he's going to be challenging for Grand Slam. I don't think he's going to be challenging the French anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, before we get on to more flops, because there was a few of them, let's talk about Dominic Thiem. And that was impressive from him, beating obviously Marin Cilic, top player. We was talking about how difficult Dominic Thiem's draw was in this tournament.
Yes.
But he managed to dispatch Cilic with relative ease in 3 sets. Played some really good stuff as well. I didn't catch all the match, but I saw bits of it. And yeah, he looked really good, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm the same. I caught the highlights of this one. Obviously, it was on whilst we were working.
Yeah.
So, but it looked very impressive, and it was even more impressive than when he beat him at the US Open. And you'd expect that, really, just because of his clay court play. Dominic Thiem's clay court all through and through. Really, he's just only started plying his trade on the hard courts and started to do really well in recent years.
Well, mate, he's been the finalist, remember, the last 2 years. He's been there right to the end. So this tournament does suit Dominic Thiem.
Don't rule him out.
I just feel like his draw, man, is really tough.
It doesn't matter.
He's got a really tough draw.
I don't think it matters. I think he's the person that people aren't talking about him as much. They're talking about Djokovic. They're talking about Rafa. And I think Thiem might be able to sneak through. And he is the one possibly to beat. He's the youngest one out of those ones that you would fancy. It'd probably be those 3 that you fancy: Djokovic, Nadal, Dominic Thiem. And he's probably, he's just won a Grand Slam, his first one. He's got to have a bit of confidence coming in from that. And he's been in the final the last 2 times. So surely he's looking to go one better. And who would say now we're playing in a weird French Open where it's not hot, it's not suiting Rafa.
Yeah.
Djokovic, you don't know. We're not seeing him play yet. I'm sure he's going
he's later on, isn't he, today?
I'm sure he's still going to be pretty good. But it throws it up in the air a little bit, and you don't know who it's going to suit quite as well. We've seen Dominic Thiem. He looks amazing so far.
Well, Melez makes a good point there. Thiem showed a lot of resilience in that match. At one point, it was love 40 down, 4-5, and he managed to hold for that. So it just shows that he's mentally, it seems like he's there as well. He's fighting for every point. He's not giving up. A lot of people then, their head drops a bit and they're thinking, I've got a long way to get out of this one, especially when you've got Marin Cilic the other side of the net. But he fought in there and managed to do it. So fair play to him.
I think,
and I understand what you're saying. I think Dominic Thiem has a great chance, but I just feel like the amount of top players he's going to have to be playing, I do doubt that he's going to be able to get through them all in 3 sets. And if he has a few 5-setters in there, you do not want to be coming to the end of this Roland Garros having played too many matches and had spent too many hours on court, because I feel like a Novak Djokovic or even a Schwartzman later on could dispatch you quite comfortably.
Yeah. And to come back to that point that Melez was making there, if it was love 40 hold at 4-all, that must mean it must have been love 15 Dominic Thiem in that game, I believe. Just another,
it would have been.
So at least he's continuing with that theme anyway. But he looks really strong. I think, we're only going to see. It's not an easy first round match. Marin Cilic is not an easy match for anybody. I reckon he could have got maybe 3rd, 4th round if he hadn't met Dominic Thiem in the first round. But Dominic Thiem straight sets win. Interesting.
Go on. Sorry, what was you going to say?
I was going to say interesting to see who he's up against in the next round. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And I was just going to bring up the draw. I don't know. You won't be able to see it. I'm just going to have a quick look at it myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
But Dominic Thiem will be playing. Bear with me. So he's playing Jack Sock in the next round. So that's not an easy match either. He's just a former top 10 player. That's a very tough match, really. This is, like you said, tough route through. And if he gets through that one, he could be in for a rude awakening, because he might be playing Casper Ruud in that next round, because he's up against Tommy Paul, Casper Ruud. So
that's what I'm saying. It's ridiculously tough. Although I think Jack Sock surely can't beat Dominic Thiem, right?
It's a weird year.
I just did not expect. I'm just so perplexed, really, by Jack Sock and what he's doing right now. He's just playing far too good, far better than I even anticipated he ever could.
Yeah.
Fair play, though. Yeah, it's going to be tricky, but I think Dominic Thiem should be able to do that one.
I think one person to maybe look out for, like I've been keeping an eye on him, Pedro Martinez. He's been playing some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
He's gone through really easy. This is the guy, obviously, Vukic knocked out Alcaraz Garcia in the qualifiers.
Yeah, and we'll speak about Alcaraz later on in this video because he had a ridiculous match today in the Challengers.
Oh, God, yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But, yeah, Pedro Martinez is specifically clay court through and through. This is his bread and butter, and he's got to the first round, or I think he's got to maybe the second round, perhaps before as well. I think he's getting better on the clay as well, and I think, well, depending on who he's playing in the next round, it's going to be interesting to see who he comes up against and if he can progress, because he could cause problems for a lot of people. He's up against Mikhail Kukushkin next. I reckon he could take out Kukushkin, if I'm honest. Yeah. And then he could...
Well, I'm sure he's probably happy he's playing Kukushkin rather than Fognini. But then saying that, I'm not sure, because this Fognini we're seeing right now is a bit of a farce, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can blame the injury so much, but for me, he doesn't seem... It's one of them ones where you're just coming... It's more match fitness rather than an injury now. Like, it seems like he's recovered from his injury. It's going to take him some time to be getting back to his full match fitness. And that's what we're seeing now. However, we still see some top points from Nini, but I think it's mental for him. Like, when things aren't going right for him, he just throws the towel in quite...
Oh, he's still there. Sorry.
Do you not think?
He just cut out for a second there. Yeah, he does throw the towel in quite easily, though. Yeah, you're right. And he throws his toys out the pram, so to speak. And you just see these certain performances from Fognini where he can just lose just straight sets, even like 6-love in a set, and just gives up, really. You just don't like to see that.
He's got it in him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think after that third set, he lost that tie break, and then he just gave up. That wasn't because of his fitness or any injury or anything. He just didn't fancy it and didn't want to do it.
And it's strange, isn't it? Because if you win that set, it's all to play for, and it's just a fifth set decider. But I have no idea. It's just it boggles me. I would love to get inside the head of Fabio Fognini to see what's going on, because I bet it's crazy.
I don't know if I'd want to be in there, to be honest.
Yeah, probably a few like plates being smashed or lots of things being thrown around. Let's have a look down the draw a little bit more. There was a bit of an epic one there. One that sort of slipped under the radar for me, especially. You had Emilio Gomez went out to Sonego. 5-setter. Yeah, I didn't see the match, but...
Mate, it was interesting. Did you know Gomez's dad played in... he was a professional tennis player as well?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he actually, I think... Don't quote me on this. I think he's actually won a Roland Garros.
Well, I'll have to go back and...
We'll have to check that one. Let us know about that. But I saw something like that, and I was like, what's going on here? Is this real?
That's crazy. Well, look at
this. It was way before our time, I think, but...
Definitely.
Even still, that's crazy.
Traveling through there, like we said before, Tommy Paul, Mackenzie McDonald, going through, and look at this one for a fifth set.
Mate, I was watching that. One. That was epic, mate.
I was just kept seeing the score, and I kept checking back, and I was like, it's still going in that fifth set. This is crazy.
Mate, how long was the fifth set? Do you know?
No.
180 minutes.
What, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Wow. Now that's getting towards the John Isner Mahut level. That's
what I was going to ask you. Is there not a cut-off now for the fifth set?
I think it's just in Wimbledon there's a cut-off for the fifth set.
So potentially it could go all the way. Surely not.
Yeah, we don't really need that in this tournament, do we? They're already struggling with the rain and all those problems. If you have the players going 18-16 in the fifth set, if we were going to be playing in January and finishing this tournament, it's going to get ridiculous.
Yeah, and well, Mele's just confirmed there that Gomez's dad was the 1990 champ.
There you go.
Thanks for that, mate.
That's a good stat.
I didn't know. I didn't make it up completely.
It's got big shoes to fill. It's good. But he went out in the first round, so not quite there just yet, but maybe next year, eh?
Yeah, huge disappointment there for TFO. That's really disappointing for him.
Yeah, 5-setter. I mean, but Struff, such a tough customer, as we know, on all surfaces.
Yeah, but the thing is, in that second set, he was serving for the set, and he's just completely bottled it.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? I mean, I was watching this one yesterday, which was we've got to follow the only Brit left in it, haven't we? Which was Liam Brody, because he'd been playing really well on clay in a couple of challenges of late. I thought maybe
he's no match for Vesely, though. In my opinion, Vesely's like a different level.
I told you, didn't I? I marked Brody to win a set, and he did. He came out firing that second set, but Vesely is, like you say, he's a step up. I think he's he's like 75 or something in the world. Brody's about 230 or something around there. So the right person's really gone through. Vesely's likely to give people more problems in the latter rounds than Brody would anyway.
Yeah. And well, OCS there was just confirming what we was talking about earlier when it goes to a fifth set. And that is the Australian Open. There's a super tie break. French is normal. Wimbledon 12-12. We know that one. Yeah. And the US, obviously, that's a 6-6 breaker. So, it's weird that they're all different.
Yeah, it's bizarre that haven't all tried to do the same thing, but I think Wimbledon, they had to.
On the subject of that, though, what's your preference? If you was to hold your own Grand Slam, Ben's Grand Slam every year, what would you have as the fifth set?
Maybe we could introduce UTS rules for the final set, just to have so you get like 3 points if you want to.
You're playing all these funny cards. Yeah. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh or something, mate. I'm not a fan of it.
I don't know. I'm a traditionalist. I quite just like letting it play. I think I like the old style. I just want to see you win by those two clear games, and it just really creates these epic world record type matches.
It's not popular though, is it? Because at the end of the day, after doing that, it basically writes you off for the next round. If you have a massive match that goes to like 30-28 or something, that next round you're screwed.
Yeah, essentially.
So that's the problem with it. However, from a spectator's perspective, you could argue it's boring that you just continuously seeing the same thing over and over again. But I just find it really entertaining. Like you'll see, like even yesterday, with Justino Mutet when 18-16. There was a lot of people watching that fifth set. Like everyone was like engaged in it. I saw on Twitter everyone was tweeting every single hold of serve or break of serve for Mutet's case. It was just epic. Like everyone was following it. Everyone was really pumped for it, and I think it is exciting. So I like it like that, to be honest.
Well, it's crazy, isn't it? Like when you get to that sort of time when you've gone past the 6-all and then you get into the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, they're holding serve all the way up until I believe it was 13-all, and then finally
Mutet kept breaking then, didn't he? I think he broke twice. He could have served out for the match twice.
There was a match point.
Kept breaking back.
There was a
match point as well.
It was at 8-7, I believe, and he didn't take it, and they got all the way to 13-13, and then finally the break of serve from Mutet. But it's always typical, isn't it? You hold your serve for all that time, both players. One loses their serve, then the other one goes and loses their serve, and then it happened again. They both got broken again. Then they both held their serve again, and you're thinking, what is going on here? And they got all the way, obviously.
I didn't think it was ever going to end. And I think Mutet, he's going to feel really hard on himself because maybe it's hard to say he deserved to win. I think he was more forcing the idea of trying to win the match. But he just made too many mistakes in the end.
Yeah.
Justino was getting everything back and he just kind of bullied him by doing that. And fair play to him. Really exciting for him. I was happy for the guy. Obviously, he's Italian as well. So I had to back him for the Italian blood.
That's it. Interesting for winners and unforced errors. Mutet hit 88 winners and 88 unforced errors. So that's exactly leveled himself out. But
it was just too many. If he could reduce them unforced errors even by about, it was such a tight match. You could say even 10 or maybe 5 less. I reckon he would have won that match. And he just made them at the wrong times. And there was one instance, I think it might have been on one of his match points. He missed the line by, it must have been a few centimeters. So I feel a bit hard on Mutet. But it happens, man.
He lost on tie break, and then a crazy last set. The sets he won comfortably. And that's why Justino, he had 57 winners and 96 unforced errors. So it was, he really went missing for a couple of sets in that match.
Yeah.
But
well,
fair
listen
play
to this from Sean. I think this is how you doing, Sean, by the way.
Yeah.
And this is a really good point. I'm fully on board with this. How about doing 12-all for the first 6 rounds, and then when you get to the final, there's no limit. So then you're never really affecting the next match.
I like it.
That's smart. Do you not think?
Yeah.
So then potentially we could see the craziest final ever.
Did you think? You could stagger it like the snooker, so you could have every round it goes up another one. So like you have to win by. You could go say maybe it can have to go 8-6, then it's 9-7, then it can be 10-8, then it's like
mate, that would work as well.
Yeah, you could stagger it.
Yeah, let's be honest, though, it doesn't always happen. There's a lot of situations where it will be done in 3 sets or 4 sets. So, or even it'll be done in the 5th set, 6-3. Like, how often do you see a 5th set even still go to? It will just be like normal tennis.
Yeah. I mean, it's just whoever can hold their nerve, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah. So before we go on to, well, for me, I would say this is the biggest surprise. I know people are saying Felix. Yeah, I'm not going to go on to that. Yeah, let's talk about Casper Ruud first.
Yeah, I mean,
because that is, I think that's phenomenal. Granted, Shagita's he's not like a world beater, is he?
not the top of the tree, but he's still top 100. But he's not.
He's a good player, but he's not going to bring out the crowds, is he? People aren't going to be queuing front row to see Shagita.
No, not really. Maybe in his local town or even in his country, but nowhere else. Not on the clay courts either. No. But impressive stuff. I didn't expect anything different. Straight sets, Ruud, he's through, and I think he set up. Who did I say he was playing in the next round? Was it Tommy Paul? He was playing.
Tommy Paul, yeah.
No, Tommy Paul in the next round, and then they could
potential of either playing Thiem or Sock, right?
Oh, it's going to Thiem and Ruud. That's going to be that's the one we were thinking.
I think everyone wants Thiem and Ruud. That'll be really interesting to see. Personally, I'll make a big statement. I think Ruud's going to beat him.
Oh, why would you say
that's huge? That's huge.
I don't think so. I think, for me, Dominic Thiem, we're going to see him in the final again. That's what I think. And I think.
So you're saying Rafa's not going to get to the final then?
Yeah, I think he's going to take out Rafa in this tournament and before the final. And I think that it'll probably be a Djokovic Thiem final.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm thinking. But
that's bold.
You wait. I'm gonna get more hate. There's gonna be all the Zverev fans are gonna come after me. I'm like, girl, you don't give him enough credit. Like he's done so much on clay. He's won this tournament on clay. But the one thing I want to say, I don't hate Zverev, and I actually think he's an amazing tennis player. But there's always a but. He and all of these videos that were sent, the big 3 saying that Zverev on what an amazing player they think he is. Yes, when he was breaking through and he was 17 years old and he took the world by storm, he looked like the next breed, and we thought he's going to be the.
Mate, the Rafael Nadal video you just referenced was in 2018.
Yeah, but I still believe that he's dropped. I don't think he's even getting to that same level that he was when he was a couple of years ago. I think he needs to up a level.
Only a few weeks ago, he's in a Grand Slam final.
Yeah, but I'm not.
I think you're being harsh on Alex Zverev, man.
Yeah, but come on, mate. Let's be serious. If Djokovic was in there properly, he's not going to be getting there. So I want to see the best out of him again. I don't just want to see the Zverev who's big serve and that's all it is. I want to see the whole thing that got him to the dance and the thing that everyone was talking about. Because I think when he came through, I was raving about him as much as you were. And I've just been disappointed to not see him really like set the court on fire, get everyone excited to watch him. Because everyone was just saying, did you watch that Zverev match in the US Open? It was boring. And it was a snooze fest. All this like that. Yeah, he's better than that. Trust me. If you go back and watch some of his past matches, he won the World Tour finals. So
these conditions, like Meles said, could suit Zverev though. So let's just watch this space with him. He also says he loves your pro team pick. We're getting a lot of team love in the comments. And you've also offended OCS, mate, about Shagita. It's his second cousin.
Oh no! Apologies. Well, there's no malice in our words.
Mate, Ben, I'm pretty sure he's joking. It's not his second cousin.
there's no malice in our words, even if you were or if you're not. Sagita, we love him on the hard court. We just don't like him on the clay.
Anyway, let's go to a big flop, and that's not Miljevic, Krajinovic.
What happened here? His countryman has pushed him out the tournament, mate. And
I don't know, because Krajinovic has been playing the best tennis he's ever done in his career. He looks, at times, if he's not playing either Novak Djokovic or one of the top 5 or top 10, he looks unbeatable. I'm sorry. Like, he is the best of the rest, in my opinion. I'm siding like all the top 10. Like, I'm just outside that top 10. He's the best of the rest. I think on any surface as well, he can play on. And for me, he's just a quality player.
Yeah, it's very good.
I watched him against Djokovic. He was unlucky not to have done better in that match. He was well in it with Djokovic. You couldn't even tell him apart in that match. I'll be honest. Apart from Djokovic making the crucial moments and just doing what he does best. But I just think it's disappointing, mate. He should not be losing to Miljevic.
No, I don't think he should be. But I thought there was a possibility that he might, just based upon the fact that they're from the same country. They probably trained with each other quite a lot. They probably know each other's games inside and out. And I think that can be an advantage in this type of thing. It also can hinder you because the other player might know all of your tricks. Like you then might not, or they know where your weaknesses are, but they also know where your strong bits are.
Even still, he's just a level above. Like he shouldn't be losing. It seems like a lapse of concentration. I'll have to watch the highlights of the match because I've not had a chance to. I've been so busy with work and trying to fit these podcasts in. I've not been able to watch as much tennis as I wish, as I'd have wanted to. But for me, that's just a disgrace. Him losing that, I didn't see it at all. I remember seeing the odds before. I think if you scroll to the right, you'll see the odds, right? It was just bizarre.
It was 7-1 for Miljevic.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
Well, he's 144 in the world, and he is a decent clay court player as well. You got to remember that.
I'm sorry, mate, but Krajinovic is just too good. I'm just disappointed there. For me, that is my biggest disappointment I've seen so far in the tournament. And one now, which you're going to say wasn't a disappointment, was Bublik Monfils.
Yeah, I called it, but it's obvious. I mean, for me, I'm not that proud of calling that because at the end of the day, Monfils has just come back from like an injury, and you just can tell he's not there. He's lost his last.
Well, he's come out in interviews. I don't know if you caught his interview, and he's just saying he's not really feeling it right now. On court, he just feels awkward out there. He's not finding any rhythm whatsoever. It's not because he's not a top player. We know how good Gal Monfils is. It's just a case of he's just not in a good run of form right now, and it happens in tennis. Happens to all players, to be honest.
Sad, though. He was so good before the break as well, and it was just so sad that someone like him, who's obviously more in the latter stage of his career, he could have had a really good run this year if it wasn't for this whole break, and it's just completely screwed him. And now he's come back and he's in much worse form. So I feel sorry for Gal Monfils, one of our sort of favourite players to watch because he's so entertaining, and there's no crowd there to even entertain. So maybe that's why he's just gone out. Got no one to show off to on the court. But I don't know. But Bublik, I thought he was a very good player. We only got to see...
Come on then. What do you make about some of his underarm aces?
Mate,
he hit a very good one, didn't he?
Yeah, he has. He does it at the right time. It's normally on like an advantage or something when the game's pretty tight and he really needs to just get that game over the line. He'll pull one out. And that's pretty clever, I think. Yeah, he uses it tactically well, and I think he's only able to use it so well, the same as Kyrgios, is because his first serve is so powerful that the players have to respect it and stand like quite far back. And Monfils, he wasn't using it as much in the first couple of sets because I think he just thought, he's quite quick, isn't he, Monfils? I'm probably just going to be risking showing all my cards too soon. And he looked like he was bossing the rallies for me. I watched the whole match of this one. And even when he was down in the set or it got broken, he always looked like he could come back. It didn't look like it was too much of a struggle for Bublik. He looked like he just could push him around the court a bit. And like you said, Monfils out of sorts, really. Yeah,
I know John there is saying that Monfils shouldn't be in the top 10 anymore. I think we need to just calm down a bit. Like, I don't want to be too harsh on Monfils. We need to remember what year he's had already in 2020. I think he's won 2 ATP titles this year alone. and we've not had tennis for 6 months of it. So he's not done too bad. Let's get off his back a little bit. It's just mentally something's not quite right at the moment, physically as well. And I'm sure he'll get back to that because he's a quality class player, and a lot of people. The game's a much better place when he's playing well, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. It's just like people like, and especially in the French Open, this is home tournament. You want to see him doing well in that, but unfortunately, he's out this year. Hopefully, someone else can fly the flag for him.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, and I think it's Rafa time.
Yeah. Right? Rafael Nadal makes it through.
I was watching this match. This was a good one. It was on ITV4. They showed the whole match.
Yeah.
I was there just cheering on Rafa. I just want to start off by saying Gerasimov was incredible. I'll put it out there. I think he was class the whole match. I think, who did you say at the beginning? You was talking about someone. You said Marin Cilic. You were saying if he was faced up against a lot of other players in the first round, there was a good chance he'd have gone through. I think there's exactly the same for Gerasimov. I think if Gerasimov was played against maybe any other player, basically 50% other players, he would have won that match.
Yeah.
I thought he was class. He played really good against Rafael Nadal, but Rafael Nadal just didn't give him a chance. You know what his top spin's like. He creates so many different angles no player can create on the tennis court. And at Roland Garros, that's only intensified by about 10. So
yeah,
it's just,
I think
it's not really fair, is it? I feel like playing Rafael Nadal on Roland Garros courts is not really fair. He's got an advantage in every single match he plays, and he's just incredible. It's amazing to watch. Like, I think it's as we know, it's a generational talent, and just to continue to keep watching him is just impressive. And I just love watching every match.
You love it too much, some might say. I think
you can't, Ben. You got to admire it, because when Rafa's gone, you're not going to see something like this.
I know.
You can say Carlos Alcaraz or Musetti could be doing this thing. I don't think they can. This is just something we're never going to see again.
It's the fighting spirit. It's the fighting spirit that he brings to the court. I thought something that was really interesting with this, like you were saying, Gerasimov played out of his skin, played some of probably the best match he could play possible against Rafael Nadal. But not one break point did he get in the first 2 sets. And that's how crazy, how well you can play against Rafael Nadal and not one. And Rafael Nadal, he had 1 break point in sets, broke both times. That's how clinical Rafael Nadal was. Yeah, but
the thing is, I think it was a blessing in disguise that Gerasimov didn't break, because when he did break in the 3rd set, he broke to make it 2-0, and then he lost 6 games in a row.
I know.
So I think the match would have been over a lot sooner if he broke earlier in them 2 sets, because it's the worst thing to do against Rafael Nadal. Made him angry, and then after that, he was just firing him.
I think
Gerasimov, he did get slightly injured as well. He rolled his ankle. It looked quite bad as well.
Isn't it, when we spoke to Robin Haase, he said, don't piss off Rafa Nadal. He tried a few trick shots while he was playing him, and he said after that, Rafa just turns it on and then just wipes him off the court. So he said even in training he does it as well. Don't even mess around with him in training. So
it's a valid point though, isn't it? It's Rafa Nadal. He's someone who, his intensity on court is just through the roof, and it's interesting to see that Casper Ruud obviously coming through the Rafa Academy. He sort of shares a lot of that intensity, I feel.
Yeah, he's really
good. So it's going to bode well for him in the future.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player. And
we've done it again, though. We've been speaking 40 minutes. We're still on the men. So I think it's going to be a bit like these early rounds, because there's so many matches to cover. We'll just go through some of these quickly.
This was one I wanted to just point out. Well, obviously, this was a big match above, but I was watching this one yesterday, and it was a back-and-forth battle. It was GB's Nori against Galan Riveros, who I thought Riveros was going to win this. I was surprised because Riveros is an amazing clay court player. Probably don't get to see much of him on the ATP circuit, but really amazing challenger player.
Brilliant on the challengers, isn't he?
Yeah. And I thought Nori had been playing terribly recently on the clay. So, and I was surprised he was 2 sets to 1 up.
Well, it was 5-0 up, wasn't he, in that first set?
Well, I was so shocked. I was like, what's happened? Nori suddenly changed it up on the clay courts, but he's such a grinder, Riveros, though, or Galan Riveros. He just keeps on plugging away. It reminded me a little bit of like a Batista Agut style. I think it's that sort of that Spanish vibe. Obviously, it's like South American, but had that sort of same plug-in backhand. It was just very forced. You could just like force him in. Well, he was hitting the baseline quite a lot with it, and then suddenly would just change it up and then change direction. That was catching Nori out quite a lot of the time. And those last 2 sets, you've seen. He just outlasted him. He couldn't handle that 5 sets on clay.
Yeah, like you said, I think you summed it up nicely. We also got other results there. Obviously, the tennis Sangram one. That was impressive to fight in 5 sets. He saved some match points in that match as well. We know how much of a warrior Sangren is.
Yeah, so tough.
Clay courts aren't particularly his thing, but he managed to grind it out. So fair play to him. Hatchinov as well. That was easy for him. He's been in some good form of late. Daniel Altmaier. I really like him.
Yeah,
he had a lot of problems in 2019 with an injury, but he seems to have come back from that nicely and playing some good stuff.
Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Daniel Altmaier because he's one of the players.
Without his injury, he would be a lot higher up in the rankings and a lot more people would know about him. But it's been a bit unfortunate with what's happened in his career. But regardless of that, the way he's going, I project him to go, I don't know, top 50 maybe.
He could easily do it. I mean, at the moment he is. Let's have a look quickly there. Yeah, he's 22 years old. So, and the sky's the limit for that kid, I think. And I put it out there. Jotted it down. I thought he was going to take out Lopez in straight sets, just because I'd seen his previous few matches, and it actually happened. It was a very close first set, but once he got that over the line, he looks really promising. His backhands. Really, really nice to watch, and he really just goes through it so nicely and can change the direction of it so well. So, and Lopez, is he going to play forever or what's going on? He still looks quite good. He didn't look bad at all. He was hitting some amazing winners, amazing drop shots. Still got it, but how old is he now? I don't even know.
I like Lopez on grass, man. I think he's a quality player on grass.
Let's have a look. 39. Okay, there you go. So got down all the...
And then we'll just wrap that up with the last one, I guess. Corona Buster beat Millman. Millman's not really a clay court player. Nothing really to mention on that one. OCS was just asking, Ben, who was your picks for the men? Who was your underdog and your main pick for the men's title this year?
Well, I went with... Shapovalov as my dark horse.
That's it.
I'm wondering whether I should have done that or not. I'm just waiting to see how he performs in his first match today. I'm hoping he comes out all guns blazing. It's Gilles Simon. Gilles Simon's no easy match though. It's at home in France. If he gets past him in style, I'm going to be pretty excited. And and then I've got Djokovic as my main pick.
Yeah, my main pick was Rafael Nadal, and my dark horse was Casper Ruud. So that's why I'm backing him against Thiem. But on the hindsight, this was before the draw, was it not, Ben? Or was it after the draw?
What was that?
When we made our picks.
Yeah, it was before the draw. Yeah,
it was before the draw. So I don't know. Oh, it might have been after the draw, actually. Yeah,
during the draw, in our draw episode.
The way the conditions are sort of played out and the way what I've seen so far, I'm not very confident about Nadal. I don't think he's going to do it now, to be honest. But I did say that at the beginning, so I'll stick with that. Let's talk about some of the women's action now. I think we've only got about 5 minutes to talk about it, but we'll go through some of them. Kvitova right there, obviously. Yeah. I think we've not even given our picks, but we both agreed before this podcast that we both think that Kvitova is going to win. No, we don't see anyone really. You said that, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I said Halep.
Oh, Halep. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, you can
I said Halep as well. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. I meant Halep. I don't mean Kvitova. I was talking about Halep.
All right, of course. Anyway.
Wait, I said Halep, mate. We both had a discussion. I'm not trying to change my mind. I said Halep.
All right. We'll let the jury decide. Anyway, we'll keep going.
Yeah. Just going down there, obviously. Well, Bernardo Pera. That's a good result for her.
Great result there for Sara Errani. She's continued her great form since coming back.
Yeah.
And Pironkova there. Pironkova doing very well. She's back again for another Grand Slam. Her second
Well, mate, we're
tournament.
both cheering her on, aren't we? I'd love to see
Yeah.
her go deep in this tournament.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a surprise package. Like, we don't really know what to expect. Was that US Open a bit of a fluke? Was it a one-off, or can she follow up with another great tournament?
Well,
You wouldn't put it past her, would you?
Let's wait and see. Hopefully, another great tournament. Would you say this was an upset? We had the two Russians because Netsova went out to Pavlyuchenkova. That's a bit. It's your classic women's match there. 6-1, 2-6, 6-1.
Well, Patch went out. That's disappointing. She got battered as well.
No, Tamara. God, we're fans of Tamara Patch on the podcast. We like to see her do well. Serena Williams cruising through there, and Svitolina also a bit tougher match, but she got through. Who else have we got going through there?
She's doing a lot better than she's been in some good form actually. Svitolina, obviously, she's just won the Strasbourg in France, WTA Strasbourg.
Yes, she did.
So she's in some good form.
Yeah, Vondrousova out in embarrassing fashion.
Yeah,
that was a bit of a shock. Who else we got there? Muguruza, that was a pretty close one. 8-6 in the final set there. Didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I thought she was going to go out. I'm not going to lie. At one point, it didn't look very good for her. She was just playing catch up the whole match. It was so tight. I thought Zidansek played incredible, but Muguruza needs to improve a lot if she wants to go deep in this tournament.
Yeah, she's not looking at her best, is she?
Same with Kerber was just that was appalling. I'll be honest. I know Juvan's a good player.
You love her.
We've raved about her. I do love her, yeah. But Kerber's just, mate. I watched that match and it was just disappointing. Like, it was just poor. It was just really bad.
Look who's gone through, mate. The Tig. The Tig is through to the next round. Go on, the Tig. Yeah. So she's through against Vogele. And then Elise Cornet. Got the old French affair there, ensuring another French
Leylah Fernandez as well. That's a big one.
Yeah, she had a bit of a shaky start, but she's a very strong player. Did well to get through that one. And the other Pliskova. Like, this Pliskova's a bit better than I actually prefer.
She's not better.
Watching.
She's just more consistent.
I prefer watching Christina more. Watch Christina today, and if we can talk about that briefly, it's a struggle. It was a struggle against someone who was 174th in the world. She struggled past it. She lost the first set. She won the second set, and then the third set, she's still just so many poor shots constantly. I don't know what's going on with her. Is she ever going to perform well in the slams? I mean, I know she's got to a final of one once before, but it seems like she's just, I don't know, bottles it a bit when it comes down.
Mate, I completely agree. I'm not a massive fan of her. We know how good she is in these WTA tournaments, but when it comes to big tournaments, or even WTA finals, 250s or 500, just a bit disappointing. Like, needs to improve. We know how good she can be, but she just doesn't live up to the bill a lot of the time.
No, she totally doesn't. Who else is there? I'm not going to speak on these ones. I haven't seen them. Hercog through and Burrell through. We'll wait and see how they get on in the next round. Do you want to have a quick look at, let's have a look at the challengers from today, because that'll be exciting. I think obviously we had Carlos Alcaraz playing. I'm going to have to get back to work soon, so we probably have to wrap it up. No, tell me about it.
But let's just go through the Alcaraz one, because for me that's actually the most exciting match I've seen in the last few days. The one I really want to talk about the most. He looked dead and buried at one point, and it was a really good match against Juan Pablo Varillas. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it,
Juan
mate.
Pablo? Yeah.
That's it, mate.
And we know how good Pablo Varillas is. This guy. 2019, he went on a storming run. I don't know if you want to get up his form in 2019.
Yeah, I'm just
because it is phenomenal. Let me see if are you sharing it now?
Hang on one sec. There you go. I'm just pinging this up
and
you can have a look. Right.
There we go.
So that was the match from today. And as you can see, there you go.
Just bring up this guy's form, because it is just it's just unbelievable.
I mean, we have a look at some of obviously it got patchy at the beginning, but if we go back to last year, if you see all the greens here, so all the way back to the middle of last year. I think it goes back even further than this.
It goes, yeah, that's not really showing it. You need to kick on his name,
this was the run of form here, to be honest. In
that patch there, it was crazy. Like, if you look at some of the people he's beaten there, obviously you got Gallon Riveras, he was bigging him up earlier, Bagnis, Monteiro, Correa, Klezar, Orlando Luz, Fikovic, Colorini, Bagnis again. And there was just this guy, if you didn't know who he was just unstoppable. He was honestly unstoppable. Even Diaz Acosta, when he was in that great form, I think that was maybe in a final or semi-final, beating just top players. He then it was a bit shaky towards the beginning of 2020. It wasn't quite the same. Still some good results in there. Obviously, recently beating Sabov Wild. That was a really impressive one in February, I believe.
Yeah.
But then he's then playing Carlos Alcaraz Garcia today. And
like you can see here, it was a real close match. And if you have a look through the point by point here, I mean, well, if we just go to that, was it the third set? This is what Carlos Alcaraz, look at this. At 4-1, the amount of juice points there was for the chances for him to go 5-1 up, and Alcaraz showing the heart of a champion.
Yeah.
And
if you compare this to Felix against Nishioka in the match he's played yesterday, it's a polar opposite. This is another young player, but he's shown heart and desire to get himself through in the match. And it's just incredible. Like, it looked dead and buried. Like, it's amazing that Varillas is coming back to some good form now. So we're happy on that side. But then we're also happy in the fact that Carlos Alcaraz Garcia was able to dispatch of him. And this looks like a Varillas who I think is going to go on to win maybe his next 5-10 matches. I'll be honest. I know that's a bit of a bold statement. It depends who he's going to be playing. But I think he's going to do really well in the next few weeks or months. And obviously, Carlos Alcaraz Garcia managed to beat him in some top form.
Yeah, it was quite an incredible match. And the standard, I think the one thing that we always forget as well to mention is the standard of tennis between these players that people aren't even getting the chance to see, and they're just getting to see some of these matches, like the Felix match in the French Open. The standard's not even as good as this. This match is incredible.
I agree, yeah. These two here will be in the French Open next year, and I'm sure they're going to have a really good tournament as well, because they're both outstanding clay court players. You had Musetti in that as well, and I think next year, hopefully without any COVID, we'll have a nice full schedule, and these two will be in there alongside Musetti.
Damn right. Look forward to that.
I don't know if there's anything more you wanted to talk about.
I'm not sure. Did we give any dark horse picks for the women's, or were we just giving just a main draw pick?
I don't actually have one offhand. Who do I want to do?
I'll throw one out there. Just one that I think that she's been in amazing form. Rybakina.
Yeah, well, that's who I would have picked. But I wasn't sure if she was still in. I wasn't sure if she went out.
No, she won 6-love, 6-3 today.
Ah, fair enough.
So I just think that she's yet to realise that full potential, but it's coming at some point, and she's going to get far in a Grand Slam at some point. Just want to be there to witness it when it happens.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. We'll leave it there. Thanks, guys, for watching. We had quite a few of you join us. If you've not already, please subscribe to our channel. We'll be doing a lot more daily podcasts now our French Open's on. Hopefully get a few live watch-alongs in there as well.
Yes.
And make sure you've liked the video as well if you've not already. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Indeed.
Peace.